welcome back. Today I've prepared one of my favorite hearty and healthy meals, buffalo stew, and one of Jerry's favorites, by the way, too. And Joe, if you take a look at this, I have to say I do add frozen vegetables to mine, like peas and peas and green beans. So it looks like vegetable soup, but it is a hearty stew, and you don't even have to put those in it if you don't want. Start, of course, with our buffalo meat, stew meat. Look at the difference, Joe, in those two meats. It's amazing.
We brought it up in several programs, Shirley. I just can't get over it how much more obviously nutritious bison is than commercial beef.
And the stew meat is made from chuck roast or chuck steak, and so I put that in the crock pot with a couple of cups of water overnight because obviously it's kind of a tough cut, but by in the morning it's getting really tender, and then I add my vegetables and cook it another 6 to 8 hours. So we organic potatoes, of course, celery, carrots, garlic, all those wonderful Italian spices. In fact, I use a can of tomatoes, and I use the ones that have oregano, garlic, and basil added because I think the more Italian spices.
Well, nutritionally, Shirley, just really quick, you've really got the bases covered here. So well done. You've got plenty of fiber in here. You've got whole foods in here. You've got protein in here, a moderate amount of carbohydrates, and fairly low fat. Very good.
Awesome. And really, this meat, when I cook it like that all night and a good portion of the day, it just falls apart. It's so tender and so flavorful. And of course, as I said, I add about 2 hours before the end of the cooking time, I add the frozen vegetables. And these have been sitting back in the green room for a long time, so they've been really overcooked. But it's really a very easy meal because, you know, you just put it on and you leave, and it's great. And it's so delicious. There's nothing as tasty as lean bison.
And there's nothing as low in fat. You know, we probably mentioned this on the show before, but just in case we have a new viewer here, bison is lower in fat and cholesterol than skinless chicken breast.
Unbelievable.
So that's why this meal, from a nutritional standpoint, is a winner.
It really is, and again, bison is getting much more available. You know, I actually found a wonderful supplier here in the Chicago area that grows the buffalo himself, and then has them butchered. But you can find it in some grocery stores now, and so the prices come down, so it's a very good choice.
Anytime you can get something that's locally grown, Shirley, it's better for you because your body has adapted to the nutrients in your surrounding area. Really? So there's nothing like locally grown. Eggs, meat, whatever, nothing like locally grown.
Well, keep that in mind as you're shopping for your ingredients for these great meals.
When does the taste part come in?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't going to allow
you go ahead and talk.
to Dr. Walt.
You talk, I'm eating. Go ahead and talk.
Taste it, because I want you to try this buffalo.
That melts in your mouth.
And you can get the recipe on the website. And I put a couple of like cloves in there, so it has a little bit of a different taste. But you know, to make it taste different from just your regular vegetable soup.
Shirley, it's awesome. It really is awesome.
I know it doesn't meet up to Peggy's standards, but
well, I don't know. I think you're right there.
Well, let's go to Dr. Walt. We'll be continuing our discussion on the 7 pillars of health in just a moment. But first, let's have Dr. Walt answer a viewer's email. Gwen from Homewood, Illinois asks, why do people have cravings for certain foods? Do our bodies need certain minerals or vitamins so they crave the foods that have those in them? Let's see what Dr. Walt has to say about that.
Well, it's a great question, and makes sense when you think about it that cravings may indicate that you have some sort of deficiency. But in fact, that's not the case. In fact, some cravings can be pathological. For example, I remember when I was in my training down at Charity Hospital in New Orleans, and we would see people who had cravings to eat clay. Believe it or not, clay. And the result for them was that it actually caused anemia and iron deficiency and could even lead to heart disease. So most cravings aren't particularly healthy. What do you do about them? Prevent them. And one of the best ways to prevent abnormal cravings is simply to eat a healthy, nutritious diet, to eat frequently through the day, to eat foods that are healthy for you. And that tends to reduce those cravings, for example, chocolate cravings and some of those dessert cravings that we all have from time to time.
Well, that was interesting. What do you think about cravings?
I agree with what he said. I think cravings could be good or bad. I think if your body's craving something, there can be bad reasons for it. But I think if someone looks at a piece of meat and it does something for them, that's probably they're a protein type.
Okay.
If someone looks at a piece of meat and it just doesn't resonate with them, they're probably a carbohydrate type. But metabolic typing is a project for another show.
Yeah, we got to talk about that because it's fascinating. But back to the 7 pillars of health that we talked about. What did we talk about? Water and sleep.
We've done water and sleep.
And so now we're ready for number 3, which is?
Pillar number 3 is exercise. We've talked a lot about exercise on this program already, Shirley, so I'm going to be fairly brief today. movement does so much for your body that it's even hard to do on one show. When you exercise, we all know about, you know, the good for your heart and all those kind of things. Here's some things people usually don't realize. When you exercise, it actually speeds up the circulation of your blood, the movement in your blood. The rapid movement of those cells helps clean up all the garbage cells, and it also makes your white blood cells more effective. So exercise actually helps boost your immune system.
Really?
Yes.
Now, this speeding up of these cells, does that clean out your arteries and stuff too?
Yes, it keeps your arteries open, and it keeps that blood moving. It's the whole, you know, clear running stream or stagnant pond thing. So you get rid of that blood mud, you know, when you exercise. Exercise also releases chemicals in your brain, things we call endorphins and dopamine and things like this. And these chemicals that are released actually make you feel good. Shirley, I can go on forever. When you exercise, your pores open up. Your skin is the largest organ of elimination in your body. It's not your colon. So when you sweat, and all these toxins are coming out of your body, that's why sweat's not the prettiest smelling stuff in the world. But these are all the benefits of exercise, and any type of movement is good, Shirley. Any type of movement is good. So exercise is pillar number 3.
Yeah, and you know, we had said this on a previous show, and I think it bears repeating here, is that exercise doesn't have to be miserable and horrible and torture.
Just
I
move.
mean, exercise can be taking a walk in a beautiful place. Exercise can be taking dancing lessons or dancing, or it can be playing tennis or anything like that. And I think the key, if people just hate exercise, and actually, I think everybody will find once they get used to exercise, then you do get kind of addicted to these endorphins, and you love the way you feel. It makes you feel good about yourself, but make it fun. That's my point. Okay, I think this one, the fourth one, is so important, and that's spirituality.
Well, I'll tell you, Shirley, we'll talk about the physical side of spirituality and the spiritual side of spirituality. The physical side of spirituality, I can show our viewers study after study of improved healing for people who have faith, for improved healing of people who have a prayer life, improved relationships, which means less stress response in the body, which means more health, for people who attend church on a regular basis. Those are the physical components of spirituality, as far as, you know, proven in a test type scenario.
Well, you know, we did a documentary here at TLN on the power of prayer. It was one of our documentaries, and there's absolute proof. They've done clinical studies that people who were prayed for, even if they didn't know they were being prayed for, which is pretty amazing, did better. Yeah.
Well, I absolutely believe that, and that's the faith part of spirituality. But when we have a God that we can go to in times of trouble, in times of physical pain, in times of spiritual pain, understanding that we have a relationship with the creator of the very body that's ailing you, not only aids in your healing, Shirley, but it gives you a component of life. It gives you a leg up on people who are not spiritual. Sure. Because they don't have this higher power that they can go to and actually commune with in times of darkness. That security, and here's what this ties into your health, that security of knowing that at the end of the day, no matter what news you get, no matter what the tests say, that you can commune with a higher power that has created your body's ability to heal, you start believing in that body's ability to heal better than a non-believer. And when you believe in that body's ability to heal, it starts working. And
I think it's a great stress reliever, too, to have a relationship with the Lord. Well, remember, if you'd like to order a DVD of this show, just give us a call. And be sure to visit Balanced Health page at TLN.com for more information on this show. And there are still a few of the 7 pillars remaining. So coming up, we'll learn the key principles to a good diet. Stay with us.